not every geek with a Commodore 64 can hack into NASA.
This one's dedicated to all the hackers. Yo. Even out, settle scores quick. Our disaster recovery requires even more discs. Put your bytes up, prove it or you forfeit. Got my C64 and we blew it into orbit. M. Bison with 8 straight perfects. Overbold emotions make hate break circuits. In case you heard, it's a name fake service. Optimize our runtime to escape verdicts. Got an integer scope flow that they can't sign. Passing code, didn't sanitize command lines, landmine. So before they'll see me after, I'm advice star, courage, woke plus velociraptor. Don't prove we're human unless we really have to. My team built schemes that destroy, recapture. Hate what they see, finish this chapter. By the way, we're not any geeks, we hack into NASA. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Got this vodka and this Red Bull, they still give me wings. So we drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. 0 through 3, we're in every single ring. I'm just waiting till my BlackBerry dies, cause I'll replace it with the Raspberry Pi. Don't compare to this track, it makes everything they said dull. Neutralize any threat, turn Red Skull to Dev Null. They killed virus writers that we mentioned, but instead they ascended to the VX heavens to reincarnate as live wires. Still inside we hide ciphers and sign device drivers. Which school will we hit next? They didn't learn the format, so we've got a print F. Next step is a chin check. Freestyles that I spit best, they didn't decrypt yet. I crush internet MCs and rhyme battles. Get your Wi-Fi tackled, hacked by pineapple. I don't think you'll like my Snapple, cause I popped it with vodka in a cyanide capsule. We drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Got this vodka and this Red Bull, they still give me wings. So we drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things.
You know there's gonna be security, right?
First we drink all the booze, then hack all the things. Then backdoor the firmware on anything you bring, regardless of the hardware, service or encoding. Connected to the internet and someone's gonna own it. This is for the pirates that clap and love the sound. Attacking from the cloud, then we're backing underground. There's no masking from us now. We pop tor nodes around the globe, track and hunt you down. Hacked on schedule, added to your calendar. Devices online, here comes another challenger. State infiltrated, so undercover. This is for my comrades who stare at the debuggers and trace every buffer. Examining the code flow, haven't been to sleep, better pop another no-dose. I think I'll need a planet-sized urn, cause some men just wanna watch the world burn. Your turn.
Stay out of jail.
Technologically possible, yeah.
Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Got this vodka and this Red Bull, they still give me wings. So we drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. 0 through 3, we're in every single ring.
I mean, these servers have more firewalls than the devil's bedroom.
Hack all the things. Drink all the booze. Hack all the things. Hack all the things. Hack all the things. Things. 0 through 3, we're in every single ring. Hack all the things.
Yeah, well, good luck, man.
They still give me wings. Drink all the things. Drink all the vodka and pack all the booze. Drink all the booze. Hack all the hackers. Hack all the
Ladies and gentlemen and everyone around, welcome to UHC
Yes,
welcome back everyone to UHC. Tonight we have one more match of our CTF here on Twitch, and I'm glad you're with us. Hi everyone in the chat, hi everyone connecting, welcome for tonight's match. I'm your host, Marina Chavada. I'm actually from Brazil, but I'm living in the US, so English is not my mother language. You may see me struggle a little bit throughout the night, but please bear with me because the CTF is worth it. If you don't know where you ended up, if you have no idea why you're here, which can happen, after all, it's Twitch, we are hosting a Capture the Flag kind of game. If you don't know what Capture the Flag is, it's a kind of game where you gotta capture the flags. I know, this is mind-blowing. And if you capture the flags, you get points. Crazy, right? But yeah, for this CTF, this is a technical CTF. This is a hacking CTF. So for tonight's match, we do have a virtual environment built just for tonight's match. So we have the 10 players already selected from our qualifying rounds that happen every week on Saturday. So if you want to participate, be sure to be part of the Discord server of UHC. You can have the link to be part of the Discord server here in our chat. You can just type !Discord, and our very rude bot will give you the link for the Discord channel there. You can participate on the qualifying rounds, and you can just play around to have fun on the CTF or play to qualify for tonight's match. So every week here on Twitch, we have a live CTF match that is worth money and fame, kind of, a little bit. Well, people have fun, and that's the main part of it. We do have a cash prize for tonight's winner of 500 reais. It is a Brazilian championship. It started in Brazil. That's why the price of the currency of the price is in reais, but that's around $100 if you're not from Brazil. That's around $100. And yeah, you get in whatever currency you need to get. So we have the 10 top players of the qualifying round last night playing live here on Twitch. That happens every week here on UHC, the Ultimate Hacking Championship. It is organized by Hacking Esports, which is a Brazilian company. And we're having 2 live streams tonight at the same time. We have the Portuguese, the Brazilian Portuguese one, and the twitch.tv /hacking esports. And here on /hacking esports _ENG is where the English version happens. So a lot of the players are Brazilians, of course, but we do have, and tonight especially, we have a bunch of people from all around the world. We are going to get to know the players just in a bit. I would just like to invite everyone here watching, if you like the premise, if you're having fun, if you already know UHC and is here for more, please follow us on social media. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter and I don't know what else, LinkedIn. And you can find us on whatever, Facebook. And Instagram and Twitter is where we give a lot of the, news, whatever is happening on UHC, whoever is going to be the guest, if we're going to have some promos or special giveaways or everything like that goes into our social media, and you get to know about it first there. Also on the Discord server as well, we have a public Discord server that you can access and be part of the community and play the qualifying rounds and play even other CTFs as well. You can get to know the players there, and the staff is also there. So be sure to be a part of our Discord server. And we have YouTube as well. So if you want to watch past editions of UHC with all the guests that we already had, if you like John Hammond, who is here in the chat with us, I've just seen him, or past editions with Moose or Dade or whichever is your favorite personality, hacking personality, Nahemsek and Ipsec. You can find all of our past editions there on YouTube, and you can learn a bunch watching the CTFs that already happened. And I have talked a lot, right? Okay, so I want to thank the sponsors and partners here. The sponsors of tonight's match, Let me see. They're all from Brazil tonight. So we have Crosssec and Axe Labs and Conviso and Hecate. Crosssec is the company of Cadu, which is the crazy dude that builds all of the flags, not only for the qualifying rounds, but for the CTF finals here on Twitch as well. So 2 CTFs a week. That's all Cadu from Crosssec. And Axe Labs is an amazing company. They're always looking for hiring new people. They are very hacking driven, very security driven. I love a lot. I love Axe Labs a lot. We have Conviso as well. We're so happy to have a big, another big Brazilian company here with us, investing in CTF and investing in wanting to see a bunch of very talented hackers do what they do best here live. And we have Hecate, which is my company, and we talk about security. We are a marketing, communications, and trainings company that we deal with companies from hacking and InfoSec background because we know that talking about hacking is quite hard. All right. And I'm going to shut up and bring my co-host here with me. And I'm going to introduce my co-host of tonight's match on UHC. Yeah, y'all know him. It's Intady from Dual Core.
Wait, people know me? No, that's oh my goodness, my OPSEC. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Nobody should know me.
So it's so charming. Also my husband, for those who don't know. So yeah.
Yes, people should only know me as Marina's husband. That is my true credibility in life.
It is, boy. It is.
And hopefully for the folks that do not know me, my name is Intady. I am the rapper in a group called Dual Core. I hack computers for a living and I make rap music about it. I give shout outs to the folks in the chat. I see Fusion. I saw Nadi all the way from Pakistan joining us, who's a former winner. Ode's in the chat. Ode has like mad hacks. And I'm so excited to be here as always, every single Sunday. It just feels like a Friday because I'm always very excited about UHC.
Yos, do you want to introduce a little bit about yourself? You know, nerdcore and all that.
Yes, happily. Sorry, I get carried away because I'm so excited. We have like an amazing field of competitors for tonight, and we have no idea what the challenges are going to be. So I'm super hyped. Yes, regular background check. I have a number of albums that I put out, most with my producer from the UK, C64. Together, we have our powers combined to form the group Dual Core, which you can find all of our music on pretty much any streaming platform or wherever you get your music, BitTorrent or IRC channels. I don't know, but check us out, Dual Core. We make rap music about hacking and video games and technology and science and programming and all the things we hold near and dear in life. I also have other music that I've done with Michael Kill, who is an artist and a sysadmin from North Carolina. We have a project together called The Troubleshooters, which you can very vaguely see. Wait, I don't know how to point. Back over here on the top shelf. There it is. I'm pointing to it right now. That is our our album cover for our Troubleshooters project called Lead Time. And I also have a solo project that I put out in January called Loyalty, which is a solo EP about mostly around the Full Metal Alchemist series, which was amazing watching it with Marina. And yeah.
The Brotherhood, okay? It was the Brotherhood version. That's very important to say.
I mean, I like both series. I saw the original like many years ago when it first came out. Thank you, BitTorrent. And I really enjoyed it. And Blue Dragon Sec adding the bullet point to my resume with the dad joke skills. Yes, happy to inflict harm that way. It is the splash damage, which you are now at risk by watching and joining us here on UHC.
Oh my God. Y'all keep talking about it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
I hold back, right? Like I joke and I entice people and I'm like, if you want, a good freestyle, type dad jokes, and then I'm like, if you want a dad joke, type dad jokes. And, but I hold back. I don't want to harm the audience.
Oh my God. Okay. So we're going to now introduce our guest of tonight's match. It is our most dear, our most pretty little robot in a screen. It is Ipsec. Hey, Ipsec.
Hey, what's going on? Well, it's kind of rude to talk about Full Metal Alchemist while I'm in the backstage and can't really say anything. Amazing show. After this, I want to make sure like that wasn't your first time watching Brotherhood and you saw it before, but you kind of confirmed that with you saw it on BitTorrent. But what's going on, UHC? This is Ipsec. If you don't know me, I'm not sure what to say, as I've been on here a few times, so you definitely should by now. If you don't know me, make sure you just take notes of all the things we say that you want to learn more about. And then after this event is over, go to ipsec.rocks and just type in things of your notes and you'll find videos of me explaining things. But again, do that after this event is over. We don't want to lose that viewer count of you watching this. And it'll be over probably in about 3 hours. It'll go like super fast, especially if someone pones this event in like an hour. But hasn't happened in a while.
It could be 3 hours. It's definitely gone the full 3 hours in the past few weeks. But the format that we've got here is whoever gets the flags first, that ends up finishing the event. And the first time that Ipsec was on, I think that Celesian actually finished the event in like 35 minutes or something like that. So we don't know. Ipsec is kind of this like catalyst with hackers. I think also Ipsec, when you were on for the final, I think Celesian got all the flags in like an hour and a half. And then the other top two finishers, or the top three, ended up finishing well before the 3 hour time limit. Yeah,
but to be fair, during the finals, we had so much talent in here commentating. And it's kind of like the law of the ninja. The more talent we have here in commentating, the better our pool of contestants is. So it's unfair comparison by just having me here. We had like John Hammond, Lit Moose. Forget who else we had during that final.
MCO My, we had Dade. Yeah, you're right. So
kind of MCO My. Now I know who you recommended me over Signal. I was asking Dual Core like 2 days ago for some nerd core because I'm working that into a challenge I'm making. And he gave me just a list. I was like, MCO My, that sounds familiar. And then when I listened to music, I was like, this guy sounds familiar. Have I met him before? And it's probably like Dual Core whenever he hears me now. He's like, have I met Ipsec before? Because I've seen him at like 4 or 5 conferences, but he never puts the name to the face.
Right. Yeah, I have that disassociation. But you say you're making a CTF challenge, and I don't know. Like I can't tell whether I should be scared or excited.
I can't say too much about it right now, but it's going to be easy. They're all easy challenges. It'll definitely be accessible when it's made out. But yeah, they're all like entry point junior pen testing type challenges.
Awesome. I love those kind of challenges because those are the ones that I struggle enough at and then eventually figure it out. And I'm like, it's okay. Like I deserve health insurance. It's all right.
Oh my God. Okay. So yeah, now you're all very welcome to UHC officially. And for those who are here with us, just so you know, we're going to have 3 hours of championship tonight, 3 hours of CTF, or whoever gets the root flag first, like the hardest flag of tonight's match, then the championship ends. So if a player gets root or 3 hours of championship, whichever happens first.
Well, and it's all the flags, right? Because somebody could get the root flag and not get one of the early flags.
No, go all the way to the root flag. Yes.
Yeah.
And also, we do have First Blood, but it's just a little video. We do not have different points for whoever gets First Blood. And in the scoreboard, the advantage goes always to the player who got the points first. So even if we have a tie, it still means that the player who submitted first has the advantage. Now, I see a bunch of people here in the comments asking about the Ipsec face review. We know it was supposed to happen tonight, yes, but our staff didn't had enough time to go through all the details for it, and we're gonna have to coordinate something that works worldwide. We're still going after some projects and hacker clubs and hacker spaces to go after, so bear with us. The reveal will still happen, just not tonight. We'll give you a new date really, really soon in our social media and Discord server. So yes, it was just a clickbait. You are all social engineered.
It was
You're
a
welcome.
teaser.
You should have known better. I keep saying this freaking show that I'm a social engineer and y'all never listen to me.
I mean, the real trick was I was just going to do the whole like webcam filter, turn myself into a cat, but I can't figure out webcam filters, so we'll blame the UHC staff. But it's really on my like inability to troll you all.
I don't know if I believe you, EBSEC, and I think I'm buying into John Hammond's hypothesis here that under the zero mask is another zero mask. Right? It's like Sting in the ring, where Sting pulls off the Sting mask, but it's like still Sting underneath.
And then after that is the Guy Fox. Like after 5, you're like, oh.
I'm gonna have nightmares with this, y'all. Can you imagine this? Oh my God. No, but it is truly going to happen. So stay alert. And by the way, we would really, really, really like to thank our staff, not only for tonight's match, not only for going after all of those amazing things like doing, going after charities back in Brazil and in the US and in the entire world, looking for people who actually need the money to start their hacking projects, people that live in very bad conditions and need the help to start their career. And so thank you very much, staff, for doing all of that work and for pretty much helping us in every single week. So let's give a round of virtual applauses to Isa in our backstage. Isa, we love you very much.
Put hearts in the chat for Isa, our staff
hearts in
manager.
the chat for Isa.
And I gotta say, I like Ode's idea where. Oh, sorry, Isa, do you want to jump in? Please do.
No, I just put her here so people know we do have a staff backstage. Okay, now we kind of see that yes, there is a person there. She's right. She's there somewhere.
We promise you, she exists. She is not an AI.
She is not an AI. All right, let's go meet our players of tonight's match. Let me share my screen real quick and y'all can chat while I'll do that.
I am super hyped because I checked in on the qualifying round and the players that were finishing in the top 10 were all folks that like finished all of the flags in the qualifying round. And I think in this qualifier, there were 6 different flags. So it was super impressive. There were folks from all around. So I'm way hyped to see who is joining us tonight.
Yeah, this is like one of the cool things. Like every week, UHC's like talent just gets better.
Yeah, right. And it just makes me feel more and more like an imposter.
Oh my God, really? This again? No, baby, you're not an imposter. If you're there, all of you babies, cute babies there in the chat listening to me, none of you is an imposter. You are fucking amazing, and don't ever let your brain tell you otherwise. Now go hack shit.
Now one day become IPSEC.
All right, so it is our 32nd edition of UHC. And yes, 32 weeks of UHC. And our first player of tonight's match is my donut.
Yes. All right. So I gotta jump in here because my donut, I played on Hacker of the Hill a couple weeks ago. It was a live CTF. It was my first time being live trying to do CTF. And my donut just like dominated. It was impressive. And so my donut was very kind, threw me a shell, and let me get some time playing on the box, which was really cool. But I'm super hyped to see my donut on here. And I think they're going to...
I can't keep a straight face when you say shit. I'm super excited to see my donut here.
I am. And, they're from Canada. I think they call them crawlers up north. I'm not sure.
So I really hope he's not from Quebec. And that's not an insult to Quebec people. If you ever look at CT, like read the terms of service, which I know you guys don't do, but like Quebec is almost excluded for almost every event. Like if you look at the Google CTF, Quebec cannot participate.
Right. They feel like they're their own country, right? They had like a referendum to like secede from the country of Canada, I believe.
I think it's mainly, like they have their own laws and there's a weird tax with them, but it's weird looking at the list. It's like Google CTF players cannot be from North Korea, China, Iran,
Iran,
and Quebec.
yeah,
What?
Okay, so let's see who else we have here.
Yeah, we don't dig into like the origins too hard. We don't need to know. Plausible deniability. We're good. Oh my gosh, this is my dude Fusion.
Oh my god, my phone, my headphones. Fusion's always also in the chat. I think it's because the staff is still starting the CTF, so he is taking his time here in the chat with us. And he said, "Prepare to be disappointed by my talent."
But he qualified, so he's already a great person.
Right? Yeah, I don't believe this at all. I am unprepared to be disappointed. And I know that Fusion's, I think, probably going to get the OSCP soon. I think that's something on his roadmap that's coming up. And I know Fusion's been like hacking stuff for a while. Marina and I have met Fusion in person. I played at SteelCon. I met Fusion for the first time on tour in the UK, I think at Manchester, and then also in Liverpool, if I'm remembering correctly. But we totally missed seeing Fusion this year and last year, I guess. From COVID, but we're always excited to hang out with him at SteelCon. He's an awesome dude.
Best of luck, Fusion. We are here cheering for you, mate. And we have Kai from Brazil, and it's a newcomer, right?
Well, wasn't there like a Kai 16 last week? And I think that might be the same person. I'm just guessing. Yeah. I don't know.
I think you're right, but even so, I think last week it would be the first time that we ever seen them. So sure. I would still, second time coming, I would still consider a newcomer, still learning around and feeling his way around UHC. I don't know if that sounded correctly or not.
Yeah, feeling their way around, right? We don't know Akai. They could be not male necessarily, but also figuring out how awful Kadu is. Just really getting a feel for it.
Yes.
Kadu being our CTF creator for most of the challenges.
Yes. Oh, a fun fact, actually. Bigos, one of our veteran players, was the person that actually developed all the challenges from the qualifying round.
That's right.
This week.
And Bigos was the winner a few weeks ago. And I think Bigos is 17 years old. Is that right?
I think you're correct. I think you are correct. I don't think he's 18 yet. The staff Isa just said yes.
Nice.
Thank you, Isa.
Excellent.
All right, and then we have Gabriel Vernilo back again from Brazil. We've been missing Gabriel Vernilo. He has not played in a while now, right?
Right. Well, I think they've been on the past few weeks with a couple gaps in there, but still a familiar name and very excited to see them. What I love here is I think we're 4 players in and we've got 3 different countries already represented. So I love this global outreach. I love that hacking is worldwide.
Yes. And we're still going to have way more because I've already seen spoilers here in the Brazilian live stream.
Redacted. Nobody pay attention to that last sentence.
All right, and we have Ricardo. Ricardo is back. Is another veteran here on UHC. Ricardo, welcome back, and I hope you have lots of fun tonight. We love seeing Ricardo run around, nice. And we have. How am I gonna read? I think
Zymex. I don't know. I saw Zymex in the chat. So Zymex. Tell me if I'm saying it wrong.
I think Ode got it right. It's
Sysmix. Unless Ode is trolling us. Ode could be giving us the misinformation.
But and Sysmex is from Poland.
Yeah, nice.
This is. For those who don't know, this is the flag of Poland.
Y'all are just staying up past your bedtimes. What's going on here?
This is going on, hackers staying up. What is this? What is going on?
Me, IRL. As a kid, I used to put a pillow behind the computer so that the modem sound dialing up to the internet would be like quiet and wouldn't wake my parents up.
Just slowly killing the modem with a pillow.
No.
In the middle of
not
the night.
suffocating. Yeah. It's just, suppressant.
I was gonna say, little known fact, I am mostly Polish.
Ooh,
Really?
fancy.
Apparently. I did 23andMe like a year ago, and it came back mostly Polish. But I'm like all over the place, minus like Australia. That was the only country that wasn't highlighted.
we're all from Mesopotamia, I think.
All right, we have Ardit, also Sysmex, if you haven't realized, also a newcomer because we can't even pronounce the player's name. We also have Ardit, another newcomer, if I'm not mistaken, from Germany.
Whoa.
Cool.
Wait, is this Germany or Belgium? Because I get the bars, I get the orientation confused. Which one is which? I think it's Germany, but they have the same colors on their flags. It's how I get the Texas and the Chile flag confused. Like they're
people in the chat are saying Germany, and the staff is saying German. Thank you all.
Dope. Cool. Thanks everybody.
I got it right. Yes.
I promise I did learn geography in school. I just didn't necessarily learn, geological. No, wait, I don't know. Geometrical orientation. That's it.
All right, let's go for our next player. So welcome, Ardit. We hope you have a lot of fun tonight. Okay, we have João Ribeiro playing tonight.
Up? John the winner.
Welcome back, John the winner. Another champion. The first champion, right? That I'm presenting here tonight on UHC match. John the winner. He got baptized as John the winner by Nahum Sack that predicted his winning edition. Whenever Nahum Sack was here commenting with us. And yep, we're excited to see you, John.
Welcome back, and we hope we can see your screen tonight.
Blue Dragon Sack, John the Impossible Scream Ribeiro. I love it.
That's it. Yeah, that's his full royal name.
Oh, damn! Look who we have here. It's Celesian.
All right.
So yeah, we do have a five-time winner, Celesian from Brazil here playing with us. He is insane. So Celesian, once again, if you're listening to us, give us a little like 1 hour, 2 hours of game for us to have fun. There's a bunch of people from other countries here. We would like to have a little bit of fun.
Nope.
Just something new. I'm not going to put any points betting for Celesian. I lost so much money betting on Celesian winning and have never been profitable. So you know what, Celesian? Not voting for you.
Okay.
I think it was like $3,500, not dollars, points. Whatever these Twitch points are. It was like 3,500 the first time I voted for him, which was like a month ago. And then last week I put my 420 points on him and I lost again. So I'm not voting for you, Celesian. I'm going with Joan the winner.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Osap, and I see. I'm sorry, I'm going to mispronounce your name, but Magic Sec or Mage Sec. Mage Sec was also with us on the Hacker of the Hill CTF a couple weekends ago live, and thanks for joining us again. I saw you on there last weekend as well with UHC. Glad to have you back. So yeah, this is our field of folks.
All right, and as people here in the chat are saying, and I'm trying to go for our championship as fast as I can. Sorry, everyone. The CTF has started a few minutes ago, and I'm going to stop sharing here and go share our screen on Discord. Just a quick second.
Let's see what these hackers are doing.
And here we go. UHC is officially on.
And who are you showing right now, Marina?
As you can see from my screen, I am showing John Rivers.
All right. So this is probably the only chance we're going to get a look at John Rivers.
I have already started here for a reason. All right. So everyone, just so you know, I know a lot of people are going to question that. Are going to, why is this fucking thing not coming all the way to the screen?
The setup that we have here is all the players are in Discord. We are in Discord. We've got a private Discord. And the players are in their own individual channels or isolation booths, I guess. We call it kernel. I don't know. But basically, the players can't see each other's screen, but we can see their screen. So we can individually
got it.
select which player to show you, the viewer, and then go from there. And so right now we are trying to see John Rivers or John the Winner. But sometimes their screen does not necessarily load. The players are all in different locations and they're all have different internet connections going. So we just kind of go with it.
As you can all realize here in the chat, a lot of people at the start of the start of our stream already went for the betting system. So if you type exclamation point points, you get to know how many Twitch points do you have. You can gather Twitch points by commenting here on the chat with us or just being here in the chat with us, and you can spend those Twitch points in our Twitch store here in the Twitch channel. How many times did I say Twitch? I don't know. But you can go to the store here and you can buy lots of stuff for, messing around with the CTF tonight. You can buy screen time from one of the players if you want us to show a screen time. If you want us to show a player's screen for like 3 to 5 minutes. You can buy time off the scoreboard as well, to mess around with the championship. You can buy, if I'm not mistaken, you can buy hints to help the players as well. And you can buy lots of stuff there in the store. You can donate. You can buy questions for us to say here live on Twitch. You can buy a bunch of stuff. And one of the things you can do, you can bet. And you can bet your Twitch points on who you think it's going to win tonight. According to the Discord room number here that they are on Discord. So I have not seen if the staff has already put it here, who is in which room for y'all. We're going to do that in just a few minutes to be easier for you. But My Donut, you can bet on My Donut winning on number 1 since he's in the number 1 room here on Discord. You can bet on Fusion on the 2nd room. So Fusion is number 2. Akai 16 is number 3. Gabriel Vernilo number 4. Ricardo number 5. Sysmax, whatever. The dude from the person from Poland is in number 6.
Sysmix.
And Ardit is in number 7. John the Winner is number 8. João Ribeiro, and Celesian is number 9. We are down 1 player tonight, so we only have 9 players. And that's pretty much it. We're going to put here there you go. The beautiful Isa already done it. She put everyone there, and you can check all of the numbers here on our screen. And that is it. I hope y'all have fun. Just please bet as soon as you can because 1 hour in the championship, the bets are stopped and you cannot bet anymore. So you got to bet fast if you want to bet your points.
Yeah. So right off the bat, we see them granted with a Life Ray portal. If you looked at like the image, like it's in the top left of that mountain or on the HTTP title, it was Life Ray. And on the mountain, it actually had a build date. It had a version and build date of like June 14th, 2019 or something, which is like 2 years old or a year and a half. So chances are right now, they're probably looking for a like CVE to get into Life Ray. And if you don't know what Life Ray is, it's an open source like Java intranet portal. So essentially it's what you're giving like employees to log into. And I think it's like an SSL VPN type thing. Not 100% positive. I've done it once before and hacked the box, but yeah.
Nice. And if you are curious to learn more about it, you can go to ipsec.rocks and search LifeRay.
Unfortunately, you can't. I did not mark that.
No? Oh my gosh.
I'm failing already. I need to get
IPSec.
that index.
How are you not? Yeah. How are you not a search engine indexing your own content? But yeah, great call outs there. Noticing the dates and the billing and the version and stuff, so that you can go look for potential vulnerabilities that might have been disclosed already, and maybe find exploits that might have been published.
Yeah, and I think I saw John the River on screen open up Metasploit, which I love. Like, I know there's a lot of stigma about Metasploit because of offensive security or OSCP not being able to use it. But it's one of those things like if there's a Metasploit module or a GitHub module and I'm doing a job and I don't know the code, I'm going with Metasploit module 10 times out of 10. Just because like Metasploit's the more tested one.
Right. They literally have an entire engineering team.
Yeah.
As opposed to one person who's publishing proof of concept code up to GitHub or GitLab and then being like, yep, it works on my machine.
Yep.
And, you know, it's like, I really appreciate that about your videos where you do stuff when you're like, I'll show you the non-Metasploit method. And then you go back and you're like, here's how I would do it in Metasploit, because I always learn some kind of technique inside of Metasploit. There's so many internals to be had and to leverage inside of Metasploit. And when you take the time to go into Metasploit and say, look, you can do this way, here's how you do like impersonate or etc., you show so much depth that's like, look, there's many ways to solve a problem. And I really appreciate that, because I think some people, myself included, get tunnel visioned on the like OSCP requirements, where it's like, you can't use Metasploit or you can only use it on one machine. And so as a result, I kind of like train myself to not use Metasploit when I'm trying to hack something.
Yeah, the issue isn't really using Metasploit. It's just using Metasploit in a way that you understand what's going on.
Right.
Like there are things like whenever you do a Metasploit against a web object, you can just like set a proxy and send it to Burp Suite and kind of see what it's doing, because there's a relatively high chance that Metasploit may not work, but you can just tweak the payload to understand what it's doing and then just go search more. Like time is always of the essence. That's why I always want to do like recon in the background. As you do see, John the Rivers is switching between, I think this is FUF.
Yep, looks like
FUF. And like he did Nmap before. So again, just has a bunch of things going in the background to try to find out what he can about this application. Just because he knows it's life ray doesn't mean he's going to go down that rabbit hole like in depth looking at CVEs, because this is a timed event. It's 3 hours. If recon takes you 30 minutes and you start it like 45 minutes into the event because you went down a rabbit hole, well, you can't just get back that time. Whereas if you started FUF now and then just ignore it for 30 minutes, then you just hacked time essentially when you need it. Like,
right. Yeah. I love that parallel aspect of things, right? Just kind of throw a bunch of leads out and then see what hits, and you can come back to things. And I don't know, like I think it's a learned skill for some people, right? To be able to think on their feet of like, okay, I saw this, that means I should throw out this next process to try to learn more about the environment that I'm in, and then leave it running. It's okay. Like I don't necessarily need the results right now. Go look at what else I've got out, and then, you know, maybe come back to it.
Yeah. I mean, it only takes like 5 minutes to set all that up, and then
Right.
It takes 45 minutes to run. So I hate being like that person that's 45 minutes in and be like, I did not think about this. I should have done it. We're going to be twiddling with thumbs because I'm out of ideas.
Yep. And you sound like me on the Hacker of the Hill CTF a couple weekends ago, where I was like, oh, I've exhausted all the ideas that I had. Let me go back and look at some other things that I could have been looking at, or I could have had the computer looking at for me. And now I have to like go kick that off, and I've lost that time where it could have been running in the background, and I, you know, could come back to the results at this point.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see the hilarious thing of a bunch of people trying to install Java soon.
Oh my gosh, I hope not. And if they are, I hope it's in a VM with a snapshot, because, you know, I think like 3 billion devices run Java and 3 billion devices wish they didn't.
Yeah, I just hope this isn't last week when like the exploit, you should have used the Go version, and everyone was like, I don't want to install Go. I'm going to search for an alternative.
Yeah. And, you know, like I'm okay with installing Go. I don't know if I'm necessarily okay with installing Java. And like in Linux environments, there are like a bunch of different Java runtime, right? There's runtime environments. There's like the OpenJDK. There's like the Oracle published one. I think there's yet a different one, and then they all have different versions. So that tree just branches out kind of quickly, I feel.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than being a sysadmin and just coming across like a Cisco ASDM, and you're just like, oh crap, I have to open this. Where's my like Windows XP image?
Yeah. But Java does expose some really fascinating aspects. I've definitely hacked stuff that's running Tomcat. I've hacked stuff that's running JBoss. I've hacked stuff that's running JDWP, which is the Java Debug Wire Protocol, which is essentially like having a debugger stub exposed to you as a service. You can literally connect to it and be like, "Cool, can I just like do this stuff on your system now?" And it's like, "Yes, please. This is what I'm here for."
And Celesian just got first blood.
Oh, nice. Let's jump down to Celesian.
So we see him now doing the Python PTY trick to spawn a shell. Let's see if he actually fixes his TTY. I missed
First blood.
Sorry, IPSEC, you were saying before you were so rudely interrupted.
I'm faster than a machine for once. This normally doesn't happen.
Right. I think you are the machine, IPSEC. Sorry, you were saying?
I'm trying to figure out exactly what Celesian is doing. He was getting a reverse shell, then he stopped, but I think he got it. And now he just catted a binary.
Yeah, he definitely does have the reverse shell, but who knows for how long. So we see there, it looks like it's in a container, right? We see life ray at, and then this, I think, 12 character hexadecimal string.
Yeah, knowing UHC, it's a Docker. It's always Docker.
Why wouldn't it be? What if it wasn't, though?
I mean, this is just like House. It's with Lupus. It's always going to
be. It's never not Docker.
Yeah.
So I did see that Celesian made a directory inside of dev SHM, which is a favorite place of mine. Shared memory. It's you don't touch the disk. And he made .cel for Celesian, I assume.
Yep.
But inside of Docker containers, one thing that I found more often than not is that dev SHM is mounted with no exec, and you can't execute code inside of that directory. Do you find that very often?
It happens from time to time. I think it's CentOS Red Hat default that does that.
Got it.
I think Ubuntu Debian don't mind, but CentOS has like weirder exec things.
Which is cool. I mean, I think that's why would you need to execute something out of shared memory? If you do need to execute something out of shared memory, that to me raises a question like, what are you doing and why are you doing it that way?
Yeah. Also, if you're trying to do like a bash script, you can just do like bash and then the file, and then chances are it's going to execute, or just cat the file into bash. It only really affects you with ELF files or executables, and there's very few Linux like hacking tools that isn't ELF.
Right, sure, and I'm with you. Like a favorite technique or tactic, I guess, of mine is to go into dev SHM and literally like wget or curl pipe it to bash, so you're not touching disk anyways, and then also you're in dev SHM. So if somehow some artifact tries to write to disk, you're still not touching disk.
So we're going to see deep C now. This is a Docker enumeration script.
Oh my gosh, we're finally seeing it. It only took us a week.
So the weird thing about this Docker that we haven't seen much in UHC is we're not root right away. We're a low priv user.
Right.
So I'm guessing there's more flags in this one than there's probably 4 flags.
I haven't looked at the scoreboard. I don't know. Anybody in the chat? Have any of y'all looked at the scoreboard to see how many flags are there?
It's 3.
3. All right.
So there's probably low priv on this Docker, root on this Docker, and then root on the host. Celesian has done deep C. He's got the like routable interface 1042.01. This is going to be like the host or another Docker machine. And he already downloaded a static compiled version of Nmap. And he put it in /temp, maybe because dev.shm was mounted no exec. Nmap is the the rare ELF file you want to run.
Yeah, right. And I'm amazed that at the speed that Celesian is moving, at the velocity. I don't know. The CTF started 20 minutes ago, and I think I would still be like probing the environment to see like what's going on. And meanwhile, Celesian's like, oh yeah, I'm in your container hacking your guys. I got this.
Yeah, and he had Azure as a keyword. I wonder if there's something that tipped him off this is like an Azure instance.
Oh,
I'm not sure why. Maybe 1042 is default for Azure and we're finally not in AWS. Maybe they thought they could like pull a fast one and switch hypervisors or host or whatever you want to call it. But
cloud providers, right?
Yeah.
Azure definitely has its own like Kubernetes hosted or managed Kubernetes service. And so it definitely could be inside of a different cloud provider than AWS, where they've previously used EKS, I think, and application load balancers and EC2 instances and everything. So could be we're on a different cloud provider at this point.
Yeah, or he may have just been like searching that URL for various things.
Yeah, I did notice.
He's on Rancher.
Yeah, I did notice that 10.42 is not the default IP space for Docker. Usually it's like 172.18 or 19, I think. And so in this case, like maybe we are on, a separate management layer, separate cloud provider. Who knows?
Yeah, Rancher is a like Kubernetes management interface, and that's like my knowledge of Rancher. So don't expect much commentary for what he's about to do because I have no idea. He tried to run Chisel, which is like a port forwarding thing. So
right, yeah. Chisel's a Golang project. It can do tunnels and it can do SOCKS proxies as well. So very easy to communicate to other services that may not be exposed, or at least to tunnel your reverse shells cryptographically so that you're not just showing all of the sensitive data that's moving across the reverse shell.
And I'm trying to debate in my head right now, what does UHC staff have against containers?
Nothing. They use them all the time, is my guess.
They never use them correctly, apparently.
Well, that's the point, right?
I know.
It's supposed to be a vulnerable environment.
It's just funny how like every time it's always some type of a container escape, which is awesome because I don't come across container escapes that often. But it's just one of the cool things about just so many different types of CTF. Everyone that creates CTFs just has such a unique skill set. And these people are definitely like container gurus. And like week after week, they come with a new container challenge. Like I've never seen them do like a binary exploitation challenge or like super tough web. It's always like a weird container priv-esque, which is amazing.
Well, I think a couple of weeks ago, there was a really wild web app challenge where you needed to get, let me think about it. I forget what the initial setup was. There was a deserialization bug, and the deserialization bug triggered an LFI, but only in the destructor of the object. So basically, like once the object was like, tearing down and leaving memory, you had the opportunity to trigger the LFI, and that was the chain. And like, I've never seen anything like that in real life, but that is some wild understanding of application security to be able to exploit that.
Was that a PHP app?
It was a PHP app. Yep.
That's your answer.
Well, you say that, but I go up against applications and systems, and I think nobody would design it this way, right? Like LZ and I the other week were talking about like make no assumptions, and we literally like you look at something and you're like, okay, if I was building this system or this application or this ecosystem or this network, I would do it this way, and then you think automatically like this is how it's built, and it turns out that's probably not the case. To switch that over completely to a wrap parable, when I started wrapping, I was like, oh, like all the nerdcore rappers are hackers. Like I'm a hacker, like this, that's the evolution. You just like, you go from programming or being interested in networks or systems to hacking, and they're all hackers. And it turns out like there was like almost no hackers in nerdcore. It was like Whitey Cracker, and that was it. And so I was like, oh, cool. Like I'm going to do some collaborations here. Like send me your SSH public key and, I'll get you set up and you can upload the files through SCP. And everyone was like, I don't know what that is. Like Whitey Cracker was like, yeah, here's my public key. Got you. No problem. And I was like, great. Thanks. Send me your waves. Good. Done. Everyone else was like, I don't know. What is a public key? What is SSH? What is SCP? Like none of this makes any sense. And so I think, that's like make no assumptions is, the way to avoid pitfalls.
Yeah. And I think PHP's main fault is like it was one of the first languages. So if you try to create a web app in any other language, you have a framework like all ready for you.
Right.
Like you got a Python, you have Cherry Pie, Flask, Django. You
Yep.
have like Python's problem of here's a problem, here's 500 solutions. You decide which one's the best.
Sure. And
But
then
like
oh, sorry, go ahead.
PHP, when it first started, you didn't really have many frameworks.
Right.
So everyone started doing it yourself, ground up. And turns out that's a bad idea.
Right. And I really like that approach to security of, let's kill the bug classes and make it easy for the developers and the engineers to do their thing, but make it secure. So I like Cake is the first framework that I remember of PHP being like, wow, this like makes sense. And it removes a lot of the bug classes by default. It makes it hard to do insecure things. And I really like that approach to security engineering.
Yeah. So right. Oh.
Yeah, back to Celesian. We are seeing Celesian looking into Rancher stuff, and there's a good amount of metadata there in that terminal in the background. And I'm not sure, like, IPSec, when you look at this, what would you be looking for if you're just getting this like blob of like metadata?
So it looks like it's a JSON object. So what I probably would do is copy it and pipe it to JQ just to give it like a pretty print format. And then that will actually make it human readable, because right now my eyes just get lost when I try to view something. I just see like :9090 on every line. I'm like, oh God.
Yep. I'm right there with you. And sometimes I struggle with the formatting with JQ. So when stuff gets escaped or gets like double quoted or whatever coming back out of the output, JQ doesn't necessarily handle that and make it pretty for me in like a very easily parsable way. And then I'm like, oh, now I have to like pipe it to this thing and like sed and like awk or like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a pain. And we see how Celesian got shell on this machine. He used Metasploit. It was that simple.
Nice. So there was a module that already existed for it.
Yep. And that's like indication of seeing something multiple years old.
Yeah, right. Which was your initial call out, right? Where you saw like this is the date or the billing expiry or whatever, and so you're like, cool. Like at this point, I would think like, oh, it's not old, or it's old, it's not current, and so I would be looking for something that already exists, has been published. Let's see. So Celesian is just kind of like running here, trying to set up. Looks like maybe a interpreter shell, I think.
Yeah. That's what it looks like. I'm not sure why he wants to switch to Meterpreter over what he currently has. Maybe he's having trouble running Chisel. I saw him try to run Chisel and it stopped. So he may go to, well, nope, he's going to prove me wrong. I think he's going to do like a port forward. Terminate channel, BG. What's he going to do? Oh, he's looking for a rancher. So one of the cool things about Metasploit is you don't really have to worry about tunnels, because you can normally just set like the exploit to a session, and then it automatically goes through your interpreter session. So that's what I think he's doing. We'll see. Nice.
So you can like wire up the potential payloads or the exploits inside of your existing interpreter session and then just fire them off directly.
Yep. And he's doing port forward right now. I don't know if he actually needs it, because I think it's been a while since I've used Metasploit, but I think if you set lhost to the IP address of one of your like sessions, it will automatically do this for you.
Oh,
so
nice.
What I think he wants to do is set a reverse forward on his session, go back to him, because there's a chance that this rancher thing can't talk out to the internet, which is Celesian. So he wants to send whatever he exploits in rancher back to the Docker host that he sent the exploit from, because that has a higher chance of talking to it, since it already talked to it once. And he wants to get that back to his host where Metasploit's running. I think he can just shortcut this by just doing lhost as his session. But I'm not 100% positive about that.
Yes, I am not particularly well-versed on Metasploit, and I'm sure all of my Austin hacker family who are watching this are going to shame me for it in the future. Some of whom work at Rapid7 and some of whom have worked on the core of Metasploit or currently work on the core of Metasploit. And maybe they're like, how dare you?
Yeah,
But I
it's always
do-
tough to decide if this is something that actually exists or like I dreamt it up doing it once and wanted to make it exist and I was just too lazy.
I wonder if like somewhere out there in the ether, Mubix is like, oh no, it's so like, look, you just do these two things and like you win.
Yeah.
Mubix is like yelling at us ephemerally right now.
He's not even watching the stream. His spidey sense is just going off, or his medi sense.
Yes. He's like, why are my palms itching all of a sudden?
My fingers are twitching like they're typing something.
Why don't we check out one of our new players? I'm kind of curious. Let's see how either Ardit or Sysmex is doing. I just see they're kind of close to Celesian. We're going to check out Sysmex.
Yeah, I'm gonna check out Sysmix because I see O'Day here lurking around. We
What
see
up,
you,
O'Day?
O'Day.
This is one of the things I always like. I think it's like a really cool aspect about the like community that we kind of built here on UHC is the hosts that have joined us in the past, yourself included, IPSEC. When they're not hosting, sometimes they jump in and check out what the other players are doing just to get a look, and I appreciate that. I've seen John Hammond, I've seen Nahamsek, IPSEC, I've seen you. We see O'Day in there right now checking out Sysmix. And so I always appreciate that. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, and the one thing here, he's trying to exploit this through a random get. Like he doesn't have a shell in the box. Looking at behind, he's trying to run this exploit manually from his box instead of just Metasploit. So you can kind of see like the speed differential right now. And when he gets the shell in the box, he's already lost like the 15, 20 minutes that Celesian's had poking at it. So
that's a good point, but you know that I try to keep that in mind where folks have different skill sets, right? And so for me, I'm like, it's okay if I'm not the first person to get the shell. Maybe I'm better at like the post access.
Yes.
Maybe I can find the thing. Maybe I can sniff out the way to like progress faster than the other person can, or the other folks. Maybe like I'm not always second, so so it's not the worst thing to not have the shell first.
Yeah, I'm just saying when he goes back and watches this VOD and says, "Oh, I typed search life ray, use 0, shell done." He's overcomplicating it right now, and he's doing the right thing. Like digging into the exploit, learning how it works is always the right answer.
Right.
Like, but there is a difference between like when you're under a gun and time.
Yes, and making simple tests so that you can kind of like binary search your way to success, right? And figure out like, okay, this is why it's not working.
Yeah.
And I've definitely seen you do that in your videos. I really appreciate that. I love that approach, like the methodology of thinking like, okay, I tried this thing, it should work, it's not working. Why is it not working? And then let me boil down to the root cause of like why it's not working. In some cases, it's kind of a larger problem of like, I'm inside of a container and, it should prevest. There should be a prevest here. I would think there is, or maybe some way to pivot out, and maybe there's not. Maybe like everything is locked down specifically inside that container and you need to get a shell inside of a different container potentially.
Yeah, and there may be some configuration Celesian did a mess, or maybe didn't use it, because I'm looking at Fusion screen right now. He's on the same exact exploit, but it's not working. Maybe his issue, maybe it's like the payload. I think I saw Celesian use the like ELF 64-bit payload. And he's using the Java interpreter reverse TCP.
Oh yeah. I have definitely had that happen before where I try, maybe even a staged payload versus a stageless payload in Metasploit. And like one of those does work, but the other one doesn't. I think the staged payload is more right. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's more of like when you have like memory size constraint concerns. So it's like I literally only have X size buffer to overwrite in memory versus like I can literally dump the entire payload into memory all at once or like, wherever it needs to go.
Yeah. And there's also when you're doing bind payload, so most things are reverse. So you give it a stage payload and you give them like the definition of stage versus stageless is staged is just loader code. So it calls back to your server to download the rest of the payload.
Yep.
And the benefit of that is just your payload smaller. So if you only have like 1 meg to work with, a stage payload is what you want because the stage list could be like 10 megs.
Right.
Like they get big very fast because of like static compiling things and random things.
Yep.
But the benefit to a stage list is number one, like antivirus may flag on a stage more often than not because they only have to flag the loader code. And number two, if you're doing a bind shell and you just want to have them run something, then connect to them on a different port, then stage list will work more often because the stage depends on that host being able to reach back to you to down the rest of the code. But if you just do a stage, you're making a request to them, here, go execute this, and you make another request back to them going to that port that executed. Did I explain that, or?
I think that makes sense. I'm not necessarily clear on the port port stuff.
When you do a staged, you send them the loader code, and then they make a request back to you, and that may be what's blocked. Like there's plenty of times when your target can't reach back to you. Maybe you're on some weird VPN connection that I've seen a lot in VPNs where the host you talk to through the VPN can't get back to you because they do some weird natting.
Sure, that totally makes sense. On the stage where you're just transporting the loader code, you are going to get a dynamic connection back. So the port may not necessarily be the same port that you specify as like L port. So you might say, I want to catch my reverse shell on port 4444, but the stage is going to reach back on, like 8080, whatever. You're right. Yeah. And that might get blocked.
Yes.
And so therefore you may not get your reverse shell as a result. And also I did get your point about antivirus having to filter less, right? It's like, oh, cool. A stage is just a very small chunk of bytecode. So I can write signatures against that much more easily versus a staged or an unstaged payload, I guess, a full payload, where it's like, here's the entire payload to make the connection back. And now I just get a literal direct connection back to port 4444 in this example. Awesome.
And also when you do like a staged, it may do weird things in the memory to make the memory like read, write, execute, because it's not really, it's downloading an executable and then executing it in memory. So it does weird things in memory that can be flagged by dynamic analysis.
Yeah, absolutely. And the memory permission monitoring has gotten way better over years, right? Like in the past, you could be like, oh yeah, just like allocate me a page, just like full permissions, read, write, execute, and the operating system would be like, no problem, here's your page, do whatever you want with it. And now I think originally I remember OpenBSD and GRSec, where like they kind of had the things of like, you should not be able to do write and execute. You should be able to do one or the other, like an XOR, essentially, which was really cool. I want to say just really quickly, we missed a couple things that I want to give shout outs to. Revive Newt, subscribing to us with tier 1, much appreciated. Thank you so much. We hope you're getting value out of this. We're having a blast, and we hope that you're also having a blast. And then Alhaz Red joining us again with another raid. Amazing. Thank you for bringing the family. Excellent. And then Shark Haas joining us with new viewers as well. Much appreciated. You are watching a live CTF, people hacking in a specifically constructed environment that is meant to be difficult so that it lasts hopefully 3 hours and we can speculate about what they are doing with their hacking. We don't know the answers. So thank you everyone for joining us, and we hope you are learning along as we do. I learn something every week. I hope that y'all learn something every week as well. And we're super excited and super grateful and thankful to have IPSEC here with us. Y'all probably know IPSEC because he has so many amazing videos about hacking.
And we've just reached 300 views.
Oh my goodness.
And IPSEC is not even revealing himself tonight.
And before that rant, you were talking about like operating systems getting better with security.
Right.
There used to be a time when you could just disable Defender, and now Defender's just like, yeah, I'll go off for a minute.
Right. Yeah. And then it comes back. Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen that on some systems I've poked at recently where I will literally go in and disable things, and I'll be like, cool, it's totally safe now for me to run Mimi Gatos, and then it's not.
Yeah, now you have to go tricky on Defender and be like, okay, well, I'm going to delete your definition database. I'm going to set an exclusion path, and then I'm going to drop my thing here and just hope you don't undo everything I did by the time I'm done.
And I love this so much, right? I think we should all get better as time goes on. And so I love this. It's just escalation in the cat and mouse game.
You want to check another player around?
Yes. So we're watching Sysmix.
How about we go to Ardit?
Yeah, let's check out Ardit. Ardit from Germany, not to have their flag confused with Belgium.
So it looks like he is going to a Life Ray exploit as well. So he's still trying to get a shell.
Yeah. And I was on a box recently where I found some stuff that looked really promising. And I was like, cool, this CVE seems like the exploit is reliable and it seems applicable. And it did not work. And then I just kind of had to like continue on. And it turned out actually it wasn't exploitable. So IPSEC, how do you think about like how far down the like depth first search do you need to traverse before you figure out like I should go to another branch?
It's a tough question. I generally always go Metasploit first and then just do GitHub searches and start like, if it doesn't work after 2 times, then I start like taking apart the exploit and doing pieces to find out where it failed. Like, PHP is an easy one. Like sometimes it fails because they have a blacklisted command. Maybe I'll change an exec for a system or a curl exec or just use different like things. Like the very first thing I do is like, okay, this RCE should have worked. I should get my shell, but I didn't. So instead of doing this shell, I'm going to put like a sleep command or write a file or do something simpler than a shell because a shell is pretty complex.
Yeah, right. You're right. It can be. I think of it as not complex, but there are definitely way more simple tests that you can do. And you're right. You know, like there's, as a very basic example, you could think of a reverse shell, right? And you might think like bash -i, and then, greater than ampersand dev TCP IP address port 0 greater than ampersand 1.
Yeah, but how many bad characters do you have in that?
Right, exactly. That, and also like, is bash even on the system? And also, do you need to do like bash -c and then wrap the bash -i, or like, like who knows? So
IP tables.
Yes, exactly. Am I on the wrong port? Am I, like who knows? You're right. So there are way more simple tests that you could do.
It really comes to like building a mental flow chart, and you just think of, okay, how many ways can this fail? And you're just like, wow, this can actually fail like at 100 places. I don't want to deal like a simple sleep command will fail at 1 place or 2, actually. Like, does this fork a process and then run, or does sleep not exist?
Yeah, I was just on a system the other day where I was trying to ping back out. Kind of the things we talked about last week, where we were doing like our network recon, where it's like, can I ping? Can I do DNS? Can I do HTTP? Can I do HTTPS? None of those were coming back. But I knew that I had some command execution because I could do sleep. And so it's exactly your point of like, let me simplify my test and figure out what I can do and then kind of like work back out from there.
Yeah. I'd rather pick like 2 tests that can fail 2 ways and do both of those tests than go down the reverse shell rabbit hole that can fail 100 ways.
Absolutely, right? Because you're in the first situation, in the former, you're solving one problem of like what works and what doesn't. And the other, where you're like, I have all these characters, you're solving a bunch of problems. Like, do I have URL encoding? Am I escaping the shell prompt correctly? Is like, there's so many problems you can run into. Also, I just wanted to shout out real quick, Cyber Warrior Monk, thank you for subscribing to us with Tier 1 and helping UHC go forward.
So Celesian's doing something weird. It looks like he has Rancher stood up, or he's accessing Rancher. It's tough to see the exploit in the middle, but I think he actually stood up Rancher to interact with Kubernetes to spawn a container. Or that's what he's trying to do.
Interesting. I saw Chisel on the screen just briefly with the SOX proxy. And, like I like this approach, especially when I have time. I don't know if I like it as much when I don't have time, but standing up your own test environment so you can mess around, basically, as the meme says, so you can F around and find out.
Yeah. Thankfully, Docker makes that super easy.
Yes, right. I've had so many instances at work where people are like, oh, do you know this thing? And I'm like, let me just Docker run. Like, oh, here I go. Test environment. Easy. And yeah, I love that for testing things as well. Like if I land in an environment that's running a particular operating system and I want to know like, how does this particular action interface inside of the environment, I can literally spin up my own quick test environment by Docker and just be like Docker run, etc. I mean, it's not a silver bullet. You have to look around, etc. But knowing what it's looking like for specific operating system actions is very valuable.
Yeah.
And I just heard from the staff that we don't know who's winning right now because the scoreboard is down.
Ooh.
Again, it was already hidden just a few minutes ago. I just typed here and put it on screen. Scoreboard is down. And I couldn't even see it back. Someone already brought it down again.
Thank you, audience, for doing the Shroud of War or the Cloud of War. So we have no idea what's going on right now. Oh, shoot. It's Jeff McJunkin jumping in, letting us know about stagers. What up? I haven't seen Jeff in, I don't know how long. At least 2 years, I think. COVID is just like making us time travel.
Yeah.
We are seeing a shell right now happen in Celesian screen. We just saw Celesian get that second flag. And I said shell happen, but I meant flag. Sorry, I associate the two as like good things.
Yeah, he didn't actually get a shell, I don't think. He's just accessing Rancher, which he did through Chisel, I believe. So I think he's had that for a while. He just found the flag that was hidden in the Rancher interface. So now it looks like he's trying to spawn up an instance.
And I do like that approach, right, of creating a tunnel so that you can hit the service locally, even though it's not exposed remotely. And then you can like do more experimentation on your side locally.
Yeah, and this could actually be a really cool one. He may actually root the box soon.
Yeah, I like this. Adding the volume. And this was actually, so last week what we had was there was like, you could build your own Docker file, right? And the Docker file would then like get built into the image and then like run as a container. And I saw Ode sent, I think, a copy from, I think, his teammate Onertian, where they were mapping in a volume, kind of like what we're seeing here with Celesian. They were mapping in a volume, but the volume was the Docker socket. And that way you could expose the socket inside of the container to then escape the container and get onto the host.
That one is on ipsec.rocks.
Nice.
But yeah, I really like this idea. Generally, when people have been doing like Docker escapes in the past, it's always started with a Docker that had an extra privilege. Like the Docker is able to run load kernel modules on the host, or it's able to mount the disk. There's like a lot of dangerous privileges that you can give a Docker container. Like almost every privilege is probably going to be dangerous that you can give it.
Right.
So the Docker container he landed on didn't have privileges. He couldn't really do much, but he could talk to Rancher, which is the thing that spawns containers. And what he's doing is spawning a container that has those privileges that he can then use to get to host.
Nice. Yeah, and we've seen this through different management interfaces in the past as well, right? We saw, what was it, Weave? Was that one of them?
Yeah, that was the one where you could just like click the shell icon, right?
Right, and we were like yelling, like, click the shell icon. and they were not clicking the shell icon.
You know what the funniest thing about that though is? Like that Python workzug or whatever that framework's called or whatever it is. Like I
Yeah,
had for the longest time, I had no idea that if you highlighted over like one of the lines, you could drop into an interactive Python.
oh wow, I didn't know that.
It's been changed slightly now where it requires a PIN code, but it was a hack the box machine like 2 years ago that I learned. I'm like, this application is just broken. It's giving me an error message. Like, oh no, put your mouse over one of those lines and click the shell like. I'm like, what?
Yeah, the way that I've found that in the past was there was an API that was like it would enable straight debug shell for you, and so you could do stuff. I didn't know that about the icon where it was just like, oh yeah, if you just somehow are visually able to like enable your shell, you could get it. I only knew it from the direct API, but that's amazing. It's the exact same facility. Oh my goodness. All right. So we're on Celesian screen right now. Again, Celesian are like pretty much all-time reigning champ who has won more UHCs than anybody else. And it looks like Celesian is trying to set up another tunnel.
He's doing the thing that everyone does when they try to do tunneling live, and that is flailing.
Wait, I fail when I don't even try to do it live.
Like tunneling's such an easy concept on paper, but whenever you start typing the commands, for some reason, like there's just too many numbers and it doesn't translate.
Sure.
I just want to say here real quick, people here in the chat saying, why is the scoreboard down? I swear to God, it was just back. And then someone bought the scoreboard down again. It's like the third time in a row. That's why the scoreboard doesn't show up anymore, because people bought the 3 times the scoreboard down. I cannot take this anymore. Please stop.
No, keep going. I love it.
Oh my God.
What? It's the element of suspense.
Jeff McJunkin asking if there's any other favorites than dev shm on Linux or like /temp. Generally what I do is I look at a PS command and look for the directory that has the most things and put something in that directory with a period in front of it.
I like that approach. It doesn't necessarily stand up to dead disk forensics, right? With the time stamping and creating the timeline.
But if someone's looking at a task list, they'll see it like starts out normal. Like that's what you want. Like you just want it to blend in a little bit. So if it's like opt bin life ray exploit, well, that'll stand out because you named it exploit. But if it's opt bin life ray or opt life ray bin, and there's like 4 other things in that directory running, you'll be good. Like one of my favorites is always like on Linux, I think it's user bin VMware dash check something. I just name it like check dash CPU. So if someone's looking at it, they're like, oh, this is part of VMware tools to check the CPU of the machine. I see the CPU in my application. Makes sense. I'm going to ignore it. Like, just make it look normal. Like Windows, put things where they should belong. Put it in program files.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. And my favorite path for that on Windows is like the what is it? Drivers, spool, printer 32. I forget what it is.
Yeah.
But there's like some path that it's so long and so official looking. Whereas like as a red teamer, I'm like, this looks totes legit. As a blue teamer, I would be like, that looks not legit. If I ever see that, there's a no-go.
Yeah, there are tools like BlueSpawn, I think will do it. It's just like an open source EDR by some college in Virginia. I should know it. But it's a really cool tool, and we'll highlight that, I believe.
Whoa, I think
Celesian may have just got root. Do we miss something?
Oh, shoot. I was going to say Sysmix, I think, just got the second flag. But Celesian getting root is even more exciting.
I saw Celesian go to the root scoreboard and then went away. So
I see Celesian listening to Denzel Curry
So the weird thing was earlier he changed songs. I forget what it was. It started with "well" and went to like 36 seconds into the song. He clicked like 42 and then went back 5 seconds to get that exact spot.
Well, you know, I mean, like I do that. Like I kind of click through songs, so I'm like, here's where I would expect the beat to change up. Here's where I expect the rapping to come in, etc. And you know, that's not always the case. I kind of miss that actually. Like I think I go back to like listening to like 90s Wu-Tang, and they don't conform to like traditional, you know, rap song structure where like it's like, oh, it's 16 lines and then a hook and then 16 lines and a hook, which is a lot of dual core stuff. And I really like that aspect where it's like, yeah, we're just going to do whatever. We don't care what the traditional format is. Here's a rap verse. It's like 10 lines. And then here's like a rap verse by a completely different person. It's 18 lines. And I really appreciate that. And so maybe that's what Celesian was doing, was just like being like, oh, nope. Here's the rapping. Yeah, there it is.
Are you telling me like the people at Netflix don't go and watch everything and tag the start and end of intro? They just know, okay, well, standard TV format is this intro is going to be 90 seconds for this type of show. So
I thought they were like farming it out to, you know, Southeast Asian countries and being like, oh, we'll just pay y'all like, you know, 0.04 cents per hour to tag like where the intro starts and where the credits roll. At least they do that for CAPTCHA solving. I don't know.
Yeah, and they call it AI.
Right? Yeah, I have machine learning that's built on a whole farm full of people. I see some like WebSocket stuff here in Celesian screen, I think.
Yeah, there is something. Jeff just said like run Who Am I? That's actually back when like I blue teamed often. That was one of my like main IOCs I put on every system that always caught the red team, was look for a shell that runs Who Am I? Because it came down to like we never did that. Right. Like we just looked at command history. Like we would almost never run Who Am I? Because we're the blue team. We know what we're doing. We're following the procedures that's in our confluence. Like our procedure isn't use this account and then go Who Am I?
Right. Yeah. Like if you're accessing a system, you don't need to know who you are.
Yeah.
So like running Who Am I? But you know what I really like is I see a bunch of detections that will flag if you just run ID. Right. You run ID and it'll give you back like, you know, effective user ID, group ID, etc. But you can get around that and still learn valuable information by specifying different flags. So if you run like ID-U or like ID-G, I think you'll get like the same values back, or like if at least if you can like, you know, correlate that data, but you won't trigger detection.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, Celesian is just working on this last flag. We're only in the mid game right now, and Celesian is working on end game.
At least we have an hour and something, you know. I think he was generous.
True.
Yeah, he is still trying to get this working. It looks like maybe his issue is he can't get this working through the proxy. Well, now what he's doing is trying to spin up a container with a command flag, so a container will run and then run this command.
Yeah, I see. Now doing the IFS, so maybe he's worried that there's like a, I don't know, filtering on the command running.
Yeah,
I don't know. It seems a bit far-fetched. I don't know. I want to check in on Sysmex because I think Sysmex was just catching up to Celesian almost.
Yes, Sysmex is with 400 points in the scoreboard. Let's go take a look.
Cool. And these are the only folks on the scoreboard, right?
I see y'all here in Sysmex. I would stay at least one person behind to check on Celesian.
Right, yeah. we're gonna get like all of a sudden we're gonna get a last blood.
Yeah, I mean
notification.
Either you or IPSEC just stay behind just to make sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at Celesian now.
Nice.
So
yeah, go ahead.
What I would probably be doing, well, maybe not. I'm trying to think what I do in Celesian steps right now.
Sorry, Blue Dragon saying this was the day to bet on Celesian,
Yeah.
I guess.
This is why I don't gamble.
Right, exactly. This is why we don't gamble. It's kind of the bet on this stable up and to the right sort of thing, like put money into the S&P 500 or whatever. This is not financial advice, by the way. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not your lawyer. I'm not your financial advisor.
So I think I'd be digging more into like the security of the container you're spinning up in Rancher. Like there is a capability that can give you the ability to like run a kernel module, but the dangerous thing to do is if you don't know what host you're running on, you're blindly loading a kernel module, which could just crash the box. And we kind of saw that last week as an issue of people crashing boxes with a dangerous run C exploit. So probably takes a lot of research now to figure out what to do with the ability to spin up a Docker. I think maybe the things he's spinning up doesn't have network access, so we can't get it to call back to him. Kind of like the stageless versus staged issue we talked about before. But yeah, we'll see if Sysmic has a good answer to this.
Yeah, I see Sysmix right now generating a interpreter payload. They have a shell in the container, and I didn't really gather necessarily from the previous screen. Okay.
So what he was trying to do with the script command is get a PTY. So
right, yeah.
That's the same thing as doing import PTY to spawn bin bash.
Yep.
It's just a different way to do it.
Yeah. And one way that I've kind of gone about that in recent time is to do like a stdy raw -echo and then semicolon and then set up my netcat listener and then do another semicolon and do stdy raw or stdy sane, sorry. And that way, if I lose my shell, my terminal is like already reset, no problem. But then once I get my shell, I can do export term and I can do script. I think QC script -qc bash /dev/null.
Yep.
And then that literally gets me like the full thing where I can be like Control L to clear the screen. I get tab completion, everything. And I find that to be more reliable than, looking for Python or other ways to like get a PTY.
Yeah. And it looks better when you do like PS command because that Python one-liner just sticks out like his thumb.
Yes. Yeah. For all the blue teamers and threat hunters out there, if you ever see pty.spawn running anywhere, that's bad, right? who do you know that does that for real?
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing as like, who am I? Except I could see like a legit employee getting on a system and checking something by who am I. I have never, ever in my entire life seen a legit employee being like, oh yeah, I just need to do pty.spawn, bin bash, or anything. Like nobody needs pty.spawn except for hackers.
Yeah, I mean, there's a edge case within an actual application, but even then, it's not going to show up on your process list as a one-liner they ran. It's going to show up as an app. Yep,
absolutely. And so one of the things that I think about also is then kind of in that like cat and mouse context, right? Is how can I do Python's pty.spawn, but like obfuscated? So if you were only looking for pty.spawn and that flags something, can I do like, underscore, I don't know what the objects are, class.name or something like that. I've built CTF challenges around this in the past where it's like I literally extract, single characters out of objects or attributes that are available and then like build out the chain of characters that I need.
Yeah.
That's like the next thing that I do. But that process should also stick out as a sore thumb in a detection, right? You're like, why is this Python process running with this like massively long, weird, like deobfuscation chain that just seems like bizarre? I need to flag on that.
Yeah, I mean, you could just like copy the PTY library, give it a different name, and then execute it. And then you'll bypass all signature detection.
TPY done. I've definitely done that in the past with targets where it's like, let me just like transpose 2 characters in the middle of their domain name, load the domain or register it and then send phishing email. Easy peasy.
Yeah, like when I play Battlegrounds on Hack the Box, I always change pty.spawn to be Rickroll.
I love it because you're evil. That's awesome. Let's see. All right, so Sysmix is still working on this. Sysmix has the shell inside the container, and
he hasn't found the rancher yet, has he?
I'm not sure. I see Metasploit there in one of the Tmux. I assert it's Tmux, one of the Tmux panes.
But I don't think it's the actual Metasploit module. I think Rancher's just listening. I think this goes down to Celesian being one of the few people that, like, the first thing he does is copies a static binary of Nmap and then runs it. And we also haven't seen if Sysmic has run Deep C, which is also what found it.
Yeah, you're right. Yes, Celesian like immediately went to that, right? Like that was like one of the first things we saw, which we were waiting for all of last week, yelling at the screen, "Run Deep C." O'Day was like, "Do this." Nobody did it.
Yeah,
and we saw Celesian do it right away, and then kind of pivot off of that.
So I think he's still trying to figure out how to escalate on this container. So he's got like life right on the Docker, and he thinks he needs to get root on the Docker, is my assumption.
Right. Yeah. And that's kind of a tough consideration to also mentally work past, is that you don't always need root. I mean, in the CTF here,
I think Celesian's about to get root.
Oh, shoot. Let's jump down to Celesian.
I've said this before. But so what he's been doing, to fill you in, the way to launch containers, it needs to begin with LifeRay. So Rancher had a whitelist around what host names can be done, but the web API or whatever the WebSocket error messages was authentication denied. So what he did in Rancher was he now just created an API key. So now he can do that authentication over WebSocket, I believe.
Ah, nice. Is that authenticated versus unauthenticated? And you run into that with like cloud providers as well, right? Sometimes you can try to look at a bucket on S3, for example, but the permission, the bucket policy won't let you view the objects unless you're authenticated. And then if you have any key, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're authenticated to that account. But if you have any valid access credential or access secret, which you may have pillaged out of like a GitHub repo, you can then view the objects and then loot that bucket for more secrets or more data to like get you further in your process.
Yeah, so you can see all these like LifeRay instances with all these numbers. That's so he can spawn it, and he clicks those 3 dots and then does like execute shell or whatever, and it pops up that black screen, and that's the black screen that's giving him authorization failure.
Ah, nice.
So he has a way to like run the containers, but he can't get a shell back, and he can't do the shell through Rancher. So that's what he's playing with.
I see. But, you don't necessarily need a shell. Like maybe you can just write a file that will give you some access, right? Like maybe write a web shell, or maybe write a binary out that will query back to your C2. I've definitely done that in some past lives.
Yeah. The other thing I haven't seen is like the IP address of these containers he spawned. So it may be possible, like he may not be able to get into it directly. He may not be able to do a reverse shell. But if this container is like 1042.02 or 03, he may be able to SSH in from another container and then do the privesc, right? So like if he sets this Docker up with a weak permission so he can mount the root disk, if he mounts it on an IP space he can access, then he can just log in and do it that way. He may be like overthinking it, saying, okay, well, I launched this container. I need to use Rancher to access the container, when he can use the access he's already gotten.
Yeah, nice. Wow. That's shoot. What's funny is like in all my years of hacking stuff, sometimes I overlook these like simple things where it's like, what can I do right now to get access to something straightforward?
Yeah.
And, meanwhile, I'm going down like a completely separate rabbit hole of like looking for a memory corruption vulnerability or a published CVE that I can use to like exploit something. And really, like, I already had all of the facilities I needed to access the thing that I needed to get to.
Yeah, that's like the art of hacking, is knowing when to like go back and use the access or knowledge you have. Like, you may get a credential way at the start of a pen test, and you may not be able to use that credential until the end of the pen test. But if you just forgot about it, then you'll just spin your wheels. Like,
Yep.
oh yeah, I completed that for you. I just used this password you had in your notes. Like, wait, what? Why didn't I try that? No, I was going down like I rebooted this box 500 times because I was trying this blue keep vulnerability that wasn't stable.
All you needed was SolarWinds 1, 2, 3.
Yep. With the exclamation point. Can't forget that.
Right. Oh, wait. Was there an exclamation point at the end?
I don't know. I think so.
Oh, I thought it was just SolarWinds 1, 2, 3. Sorry. Maybe I've seen too many company passwords with company name 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
is this it?
wait. I think he's in the container that he was in with his shell. I don't think this is one he spawned.
I wanted to give a big ups to Bert. I saw Bert on here, and Bert was playing the qualifying rounds like on Saturday. And Bert's been with us for the past, 2 or 3 weeks at least. And I saw that I think they also redeemed the message.
They did redeem the message. Thank you, Bert. So finally, I got to read your question. Bert redeemed a message for us to read here live. So he said he needed to use the points. So here's a joke. He is asking, where did the hacker go?
Where, Bert?
Where did the hacker go?
I'm
This is
drawing
an
a
easy
blank.
one. Come on.
I don't want to spoil it. I want to spit out my drink.
I don't know, because he ran somewhere. Gross. You just spilled your own drink.
I love it. This is the evergreen joke. It keeps giving week after week on UHC. This is why you're really here. This is why you come back to watch. Not because of the hacking, not because of the commentary from amazing experts like IPSEC, not because Marina is super hot. You come back for the dad jokes.
Oh my god. Also, superhero redeemed player screen from Celesian.
Right, that's what we've been doing.
Yeah, who is the player that we've been watching plays pretty much the entire time. But thank you, superhero.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Go ahead, IPSEC.
Oh, you can go on.
I was just kind of curious. I saw on the third tab, the next tab over in Celesian's browser, there's API LifeRay 2222.
Yeah.
Any ideas about that? What do you think that is?
I think that is the API key he created.
Okay.
I think he just left it in that tab because he may need to copy and paste from it before. But what I think I would be doing if I was in Celesian's keyboard, I forgot the word. Shoes.
Humans.
If I was behind his screen, what I'd be thinking of is, why did this console work for the main LifeRay app and it's not working for my containers? So I'd be digging through like the main container, looking at all the configuration things to see if there's something I'm not doing to enable that permission. Because we saw it before. It popped up the screen and gave him a LifeRay prompt.
Right.
So he wants that to work on his container. So he should learn how it works on the main container if he has that privilege.
Another thing I'm curious about is the Docker file that is the base for that image or that container. Are there any like secrets hard coded maybe?
Yeah, maybe you can. There was a container IPsec. I wonder if that was supposed to be IPsec or. But,
no, it's a VPN. It's
okay,
IPsec.
yeah.
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
It made
It's
sense. No, it's got
it's
port
probably
500
IPsec.
and 4500. That is IPsec ports.
All right.
IPsec ports are 9001, 9002.
Yes, of course, as we should all know by now.
But maybe he could edit this container, like the life ray container itself. It's a bold move, Cotton, because if he edits it and then reboots it and it doesn't come back, well, he lost his access.
Ooh, yeah. But like, I don't know. Do you think he'll really lose the access off of that?
Well, that's what his chisel's running off of.
I see. Okay, right.
Yeah, because he's tunneled in through the life ray.
Yep. Yeah, you're right.
So if he edits the config and it no longer boots, he can't get to Drancher because life ray's dead.
Right, but the original container.
The original container is life ray.
Right. Huh.
So in order to access Rancher, he needs life ray to be working.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, so isn't there like a way that you could, if that is the case, where you should be able to get access to the root flag in this case, from inside the container, you should be able to do that without having to like destroy the container, right?
No, what I'm saying though is like if he edits the Docker file and that edit makes it so it won't boot, he won't know until it's too late.
Right. I see. Yep. Yeah, you're right. Oh my gosh.
I mean, it may be possible to edit and then start a new container of LifeRay, but that's what he's already been doing, I think. That's what like LifeRay 22222 is.
Oh, I see. I get it. Okay. Cool.
That's one he created, and then he couldn't access it.
Right. Yeah. I always like to make copies and work off of copies.
Yeah.
So, right.
That's what 222, 222, 2222, 2222 are.
I think there's a Jay-Z song called 2222s or something like that. I don't know. Don't test my rap knowledge right now. I'm not as knowledgeable as I should be. I did see that Scoob had a really dope dad joke in there that was most hackers prefer to grow their plants with hydroponics so they can get root access. Here's
one. I hope you're not reading chat. If you are,
I just read that from the chat. And I saw the next one from the chat too from Scoob. So go ahead. I'll pretend I don't know.
I can notice that none of you are paying attention to the stream because I already put both of the jokes here on screen.
I'm so curious about the hacking. I can't help it.
It's okay, babies. It's okay. Go pay attention to the hacking. That's important.
No, I want to hear IPsec read the joke.
Okay, that's a good. Please, IPsec.
Who is a hacker's favorite music group?
Who?
The Black Eyed Peas.
Hey! Let's get it started.
Oh God! Here we have Celesian looking at Docker Compose.
Oh wow! I love Docker Compose. Actually, I like it because I use it to build out like environments where I can test things, and it's super easy because like the infrastructure is code-ish. I feel like its infrastructure is config. Honestly,
yeah.
It's like
I just said, "Oh God," in case he hoses his current instance.
So everyone that built on or bet on Celesian, like hold on to your seats, hold on to your buckets.
While he does that, I'm going to see if anyone else is in Rancher.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Who else is on the scoreboard right now, Marina?
Just Celesian and Sysmax.
Sysmax.
All right. Sysmax.
All right. Do you want to check in on? Well, I don't know. I think it's kind of cool to backtrack a little bit. Why don't we check on My Donut? See how they're doing. Because for all the folks, My Donut was like the person that got root on the Hacker of the Hill CTF that we were doing a couple weekends ago live, and was kind enough to throw me a shell. But they seem to run through it pretty quickly and keep everyone out. So I feel like if My Donut gets in and gets access, we're gonna see some fireworks at this point. It looks like right now My Donut is kind of poking at the exploit and seeing if there's something that needs to be modified, maybe. Ipsec, what are you seeing with what you're looking at?
Yeah, I think he's digging through this and just seeing exactly where this code is failing. I think the error message he keeps getting is like, none type object. Ooh.
What up? You see something?
No, it just seems like he was supposed to get a line back somewhere and it stopped. This could be maybe he's using a wrong version of Java. I have to look more into this exploit. Like maybe the deserialization's not available on his client, so he can't build the gadget chain. I'm not sure exactly how it's built the object.
And you're talking about My Donut?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
Right, cool.
Is that who?
That's who we're watching right now.
Is looking at. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm trying to see how this actual Python app is building the Java object. If it's using his local host and his host Java doesn't match what the target Java is, he could be having a issue right there. And if he's sending it a bad deserialized object, then the server wouldn't respond with anything, and he could get that none type error.
Oh my gosh, so frustrating. We talked about this at the beginning, right? About how there are so many different variations of Java runtime environments you could have, or Java developer SDKs. And so imagine like playing CTF and, focusing on the wrong thing because your Java environment betrayed you.
Yeah. I mean, it could be that. It could be a lot of things. I didn't see the exact error that it gave.
Let's see. Oh man, every time .class files for me are just like, oh no, like I need to, I need to load like something like Lighten or what is it, JD GUI, or there's another one I can't remember, but basically there's so many ways to like decompile Java stuff, right, and then dig through that. I can tell you, I've definitely found hard-coded credentials inside of compiled Java stuff that gets me really good access into things. And sometimes the passwords are very similar to SolarWinds 123.
Yep. Service accounts generally have the weakest passwords because they never get changed. And they're always set like years and years ago.
And they're not used by humans. So it's like who's gonna know about this?
Yeah. So it looks like what he did was changed up how his reverse shell worked. I didn't see what he deleted, but he changed it for curl. So maybe it was wget before, or maybe netcat. And he's like, okay, maybe the netcat binary is not on the host. So, what? Oh, Tetris?
Now it's Tetris time. Hey, we've had chess. So actually, this happened.
Oh God, he hit sticky keys.
This happened with me playing Hacker of the Hill with My Donut, and what My Donut did was start a game of Tetris, but then like I don't know if it was wall, but they forced it out to like all the terminal sessions, like all the TTYs. And so basically it was like if you had a shell, you got Tetris on your screen all of a sudden. Yes, this is what I saw playing Hacker of the Hill with My Donut. So thank you, My Donut, for the flashback. Like I needed it. But My Donut was very kind and did throw me a shell to let me play further because my initial access skills were not up to par. So I definitely appreciate that. My Donut rocking it out. Why don't we check on Gabriel Vernilo? And Gabriel Vanillo doing what we all do as hackers, looking things up online. I think, go ahead.
It's like what, an hour and 48 minutes into this, and he's still on Google. Do I dare say maybe Bing it?
Well, that's a tough thing to know, right? Is like sometimes I look at things and I search one way with a set of phrases, and I don't get the results that I want. And I'm not brave enough to go onto the second page of search results. So I change the search query.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to know of like, when do you change the search query to like when do you change the search engine?
And my favorite thing is just adding things like site:reddit.com, twitter.com, just to try to search those sites for something.
Sure. It is kind of wild to me where I'm like, oh, I want to look at hack tricks. I don't search on hack tricks. I search on Google or on start page, and I search for the thing that I want, and then I do site:hacktricks.xyz.
Yep.
Yes, figure 8 saying second page is where the dark web starts. I think that's deep web, right? There's deep web and then there's dark web. And I think deep web is second page on from the Google results.
What if there is no second page?
Oh my gosh. That's what we learned last week, right? That's a Google whack where there's only one result.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I wonder also, like searching through a VPN in a different country, you might get different results. Searching through Tor or I2P, you might get also different results.
Yeah.
I just do safe search off all the time because I'm brave like that.
Yep. Same thing with me. Don't give me any filters. I just want it unfiltered.
Just give me the real shellcode up front.
Yep.
Give me the actual NOP sled. I need this. Give me the SEH override. I need it.
Give me all the bits. I'll just see if I can handle it or not.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Let me decide what my tolerance is. I see.
And
like
sometimes you just feel lucky.
Oh my gosh. Wait, Marina, have you clicked the
What?
I feel lucky button?
No.
Are you being honest right now? You know
Yes.
we're married, right? You have to tell me the truth.
Yes, I'm being honest.
Because if you're a cop, you have to tell me.
Yes, I am a cop.
All has red says
UHC
they accidentally clicked it on accident.
UHC is just another cover operation, so y'all know now. Yeah, now y'all know.
What does the H stand for? The U is under, the C is cover. What does the H stand for? Hacking?
Hacking.
Under hacking cover operation?
Under high cover?
Under high cover, yeah, nice. I used to joke that my data backup plan was FOIA. And then every time I needed something from my data as a backup, I would just file a FOIA request and the NSA could give it back to me. And then somebody told me they did not appreciate that. So I stopped relying on FOIA as my backup plan. Oh my goodness. Bert resubscribed to us with Prime for 2 months. Oh my goodness. Poke Pikachu going poggers up in this. Going pokers up in this? I don't know what Poke Pikachu would be in the terms of poggers. Anyways, thank you, Bert. Appreciate you. And hopefully you'll just be here with us on the CTF and, not have to watch it. You'll be creating the content. All right, who are we watching right now? John Rivers, who we never get to watch ever.
It's worked every time I went to him.
Okay, if like tell us your secrets. Are you like setting the like MTU like in a different value, or I don't know what's the window size in your TCP packets?
It's 1492.
I don't believe that for a second. And still, by the way, we are at almost end game. We're like an hour and change-ish left, and only Sysmex and Celesian on the scoreboard. Wow, Kadu, what did you do? What happened to you, Kadu? What happened this week that you were like, I need to punish the CTF players on UHC? This is not normal for folks that want to play and join us in future weeks. I promise, most of the players usually make it on the scoreboard. I think Kadu maybe just might be having an off week.
Yeah, it's normally like 45 minutes into this, everyone's on the scoreboard.
Yeah. Ooh,
And We're like, please run the deep sea enumeration script.
Please run Linux Smart enumeration. Sorry. But don't get discouraged. If you are watching and you want to play and you want to be on the stream, please just do it. I promise you, this is the fewest times or the fewest number of players we've ever had on the scoreboard at this point in time. Okay, so IPSEC, right now, how is your phishing email looking if you're going to like fish Cadoo to get the root flag?
Ooh, I would probably be sending him an email saying the scoreboard is down.
Yes.
Something that would just ignite. Like, my thing may be like Celesian at yahoo.com instead of Gmail. I don't know Celesian's email. But I mean, like, I'm trying to submit this root flag. It's not working. Can you check the scoreboard? It just killed me.
And yeah, and then you have like a link, right? And it's like behind, it's like ahref equals, and then like your phishing email, and then like you have the phishing link, and then you have like a scoreboard login page, but then it says like uhc.seg.br, and Cadoo logs in because they don't have multi-factor, and then you get Cadoo's credentials. You go in as admin, you add all the points for yourself, and you win the CTF.
Yeah, I'd even create a fourth flag and then give myself the fourth flag.
Oh my gosh. I did that kind of ish. I started a job and they had a team building scavenger hunt. And I got to one of the flags before anybody else got to that flag, and I stole it. So it was like, go to this person's desk to get the next flag. And then like the flag was like a piece of paper. And I took it. And then I printed new copies with the wrong challenge on it. So I think the flag was something like, how many home runs did Babe Ruth hit in 1960, whatever, or 40? I don't know what the year was. And so anyways, I took it. I just stole all of it. And then I made a new challenge, which was, what is the fourth rule of Fight Club? And then when I was going to put them back out, there were other teams already at the person's desk. And I was like, oh, I can't just go like drop off these new challenges.
Yeah.
And so anyways, they eventually figured out like somebody stole the flags or stole the challenge. And so they came and knocked on the conference room door and they were like, hey, like, give us a challenge. And I was very sheepish about it. I was like, what do you mean? I don't know. And they're like, come on, like, we know, like, you got the challenge. Give it to us. I was like, okay. And then I took it out from underneath my notebook and I was like, here it is. And I gave them the wrong challenge. And so my team got the flag for that particular challenge. And then in the readout, they're like, yeah. And then, the Babe Ruth hit, 59 home runs or whatever it was. And they're like, what? No, like the answer is, only one fight at a time or whatever, whatever the rule was from Fight Club. and like the administration was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, no, like the challenge is like, what's the fourth rule of Fight Club? And it's like, no, that's not the challenge at all. And they're like, no, like we got it. David took the challenges and then he gave them to us. It's like, yeah, that is not what happened. All right, we are watching Celesian right now.
Yeah.
Right.
So I saw one unique thing in Ranch's interface. He keeps trying for this reverse shell or like interacting with it, but there was a like third option, and Rancher lets you see standard error from the containers apparently. So if he just created like he maps the root disk and he can predict the disk name because it's always going to be,
what is this? There's a root shell right there. What's going on?
He just got it. I think. Wait. What container is he on?
He's inside the Docker container right now, but he's got a root shell.
Yeah.
So I think he just needs to mount the
disk.
block device, from the host inside of the container, right?
Yep. If this container has...
Do like a F
Yep,
dash
there it
L.
goes. He did it.
Yes. Wait. And there it is. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Get the shell. Go, 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 go. We have a winner.
The time I don't bet on Celesian.
Yes. The time that I don't bet on Celesian either. Oh my goodness.
So what I think happened was, I think it was just his reverse shell command was screwed up. What I was saying before is it gives you standard error, so you can just make your your command go to that. So you do like if the logger binary is on it, you can just pipe it to logger and send it to standard error. So we could have just if you didn't want to do a reverse shell, do that, mount the disk, and then cat flag to standard error, and then view it that way. But eventually, he got the reverse shell working. I think what he did was he changed it from the bin bash greater than equal dev TCP 0 and 1 thing and changed it to curl. I'm not positive.
Yeah, we'll ask him in the debrief. Everybody that's watching, stick with us. We're going to interview Celesian, and I assume Kadu, whoever made the challenge, and we'll figure out what the actual winning strategy was. But yeah, wow, that was amazing. It was all of a sudden, Celesian was yep, root shell, go, go, go. And man, I know that feeling. My blood starts rushing, and I'm super excited. Oh shoot, especially in a competitive environment. I don't know, go ahead, Ipsec.
I was going to say before we cut over to interviews, did Celesian just Tom Brady this? Because there's only 2 people on the scoreboard, and he has 3 flags.
Right.
So he has more flags than the whole competition.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of the greatest of all time, it seems like, or maybe we just don't have a competitive enough field.
Yeah.
But Sysmix really came in there strong, and I hope Sysmix comes back and competes some more. And as well as the other folks, Fusion, Ardit, love having new folks come in and compete with us. And for all of you watching, you can definitely do it. Play the qualifying rounds and join in and at least learn something new, right? This is what hacking is all about, is us all getting better together.
All right, everyone. So please stay with us. We're going to start our raid to the Brazilian channel. And there in the Brazilian channel, we're going to interview Celesian to get to know a little bit of his process throughout the flags tonight. And we're going to also interview Kadu, the creator of the flags, as well, to get the actual walkthrough and how the hell did he thought about those flags tonight. So yeah, stay with us. It's going to be bilingual. It's going to happen in Portuguese from Brazil and in English at the same time. So please bear with us. The translation is not automatic because we're not professionals. We're doing it because we're crazy.
We'll switch. Don't worry.
We're just gonna migrate y'all there. You don't have to do nothing. You just have to stay with us. The raid is gonna go there. We're gonna end this stream right here, and we'll see you there.
And raid. And Dr. Raid.
Jesus Christ.
Still alive.
It is still alive, sweetie.
What?
The staff is saying, wait a second, I'm raiding. It takes a while for the Twitch channel to just take everyone.
But Dr.
Nobody
Raid is a rapper.
move, said Scoop. Nobody move.